Greetings, everyone. This is Koku from the Bitter Medicine Podcast, inviting you to tune in to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
Peace, family. This is Oni, inviting you to listen to the pro-Black perspective, where Black problems are addressed with Black solutions.
Greetings, fam. Tune in to The Learning Curve with me, the revolutionary matron on KWAZ Radio.
All right, welcome to episode 27 of the Harsh Reality Podcast. I'm your host, D-Web, and I'm joined by my esteemed co-hosts. First, we got the one and only L. Miguel back in the building. L, what's good, bro?
Can't stop the rain. You can't stop the rain. That's what my man said on BMF, right? That's how he was rocking.
You can't stop the rain.
That's how he was rocking. That's how. Looking at some of these topics.
Word. We got L in the building, as ignorant as ever. We got Rod back. So we got the full crew tonight. Rod, what's good? See how he.
Hey y'all, what's going on?
All right, what's going on? Good to see you back. All them babies, make sure y'all teach them how to read.
Don't do
that. All right, so today we plan on various topics revolving around the latest news, business, family, life, hip hop, social commentary, any recent headlines that affect our community. Got to throw the disclaimer out there. By no means are we experts, just everyday people with a small platform here to add our 2 cents to the various subjects we plan on discussing today. Also, make sure y'all go follow the Harsh Reality Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get them numbers up. Firstly, a shout out Melanated Conscious Society, MCS, headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida. It's a mentorship organization teaching various life skills as well as knowledge of self to our youth. Make sure y'all go follow them on Facebook and Instagram for latest news, meetings, and valuable information. Also, shout out to the KWAZ radio family. Y'all heard the intro. KWAZ providing the latest and greatest and conscientious-oriented content. Make sure y'all follow them on all forms of social media, as well as subscribe to the Bitter Medicine Podcast, the Pro-Black Perspective, and the Learning Curve. Lastly, the podcast is now on Patreon. Please donate. And of course, all proceeds go to upgrading the show and providing the best content we can for loyal listeners. And if y'all want to reach out to the show, make sure y'all drop us an email at theharshrealitypod@gmail.com. Now, without further ado, let's get into the topics, shall we? What we got on the first docket, we got Jim Crow. Sleepy announces no plans for student loan forgiveness and payments to resume in, I believe, February. It might be January, but I think February. Despite the rampant inflation we all are kind of seeing out here, are the Dem voters kind of accepting the L on this one? So I'm gonna toss this out to L. What you think, man? You think are you seeing the concerted regret? I kind of been weeping lately.
I'm seeing straight denial, at least in my network of people, social media, and they still holding on to that better of two evils message that they're pumping. I don't know what if you've been listening to the show, we've been very consistent on who we thought Joe Biden was. And it's like that clip, that NFL clip, I forget that coach, where he's like, they were who we thought they were.
Dennis Green, when he's down there,
Dennis Green, he was who we thought he was, and I think, unfortunately, in our community, we've seen this coming. I think anybody's seen this coming. Black people were looking very desperate. Black people were looking very desperate during the election just to get Donald Trump out of there. And so now we're facing the repercussions for this. And it's just very unfortunate. It's a very unfortunate time because he's reneged since he's gotten the White House. Remember they had that meeting? Like right when he got in, and he was like, I gave pretty much. I gave you what you want. What more do you want from me? Screaming at Tyrese shit,
Hey, but he said 2 stacks. He's like, oh, 2,000. Then they was like, oh, 1,400. Like what? Yeah, 1,400 plus the 600 y'all got before they make 2 stacks. It's like what?
I mean, I think he's giving the Republicans a good blueprint on how to get the black vote without having to do a goddamn thing. He's probably, looking real good at those cocktail parties with the Republicans over there. They probably over there like, you dirty dog, Joe. Why are you doing them like that? Because they all run in the same circle. It's not like they're bitter enemies. But I don't know. I don't think that, to answer the question, I don't think blue voters are accepting any L because they weren't trying to win in the first place. There wasn't no winning involved in decision making. If you're talking about winning from an economic standpoint, if you're talking about winning just to feel good, on this Halle Berry monster ball shit, because that's exactly what these Democratic voters were Halle Berry talk about make me feel good, and if that's the case, then yeah, maybe they feel better under this administration. But no, I don't think they're accepting any L. No pun intended in the name,
I don't know, bro, because I seen they did this thing today. Matter of fact, what they did, like the Jonas Brothers, I think they was in the White House or something. They did a little TikTok video and try to do a little tongue-in-cheek funny crap. I forgot what it was. It was pretty corny. But old Joe popped up at the end of it, said some stuff, and they was trying, it's funny because they trying to turn this dude like to Obeezy 2.0, right? Like, and it's like you ain't got the charisma to pull off that. But if you looked at the comments afterwards, it's like, yeah, this motherfucker got time to make TikToks, but you ain't got time to forgive my student. Like all the comments, like 90% of was like, yo, where my bread at? And I'm like, oh, you should have known, man. I say, man, you should have known what you was getting, yo. This dude, once again, we done told this so many times. We need to be giving our flowers, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like we said, like, this dude been in politics since the first season of Good Times, yo. You know what I'm saying? The Dynamite 1970. If you can't realize what a person is at that point, ain't nobody finna change at 78 years old. You don't automatically have an epiphany in your 80s. Like, you don't become a new person.
And want to champion the minority, like I think when the term minority gets thrown out there heavy, but I think they talk about, they always like to spin it in the terms of minority being in a numbers, a population thing. But when you talk about minority economically, we're the minority. And so, it's like you said, ain't no person about to turn into the champion for the race that's losing the most, damn near, in a lot of categories economically. After 40 years of kicking our back, and ain't nobody doing that shit. I wouldn't do that shit. I'd be like, oh, well,
yeah, man.
Thank you for playing, like it is what it is. Like, that's just not, it isn't realistic. And I don't know, bro. I'd like to hear more about what you seeing, because when I talk to some of my network of people, I still get the saying, well, he's better than Trump, and I'm like, I mean, how? I always ask the how, but then I stop the conversations at that point because I know it's not going to be a fruitful conversation.
What? I don't see nothing. Like, first and foremost, you got to kind of differentiate when you talk to people. First, most of the time when you get together with people, like politics, like the last thing on y'all, man. I've have yet to be like chilling at the pool hall with the brothers and we talking about politics. Like, that really don't happen. It's more so about maybe sports or something like that. But as far as like social media, you might see a little bit more politics, and it's like night and day, because I'll see, like, you know what I'm saying, my Fed book or whatever, and you'll see like nothing, right? You think it's 2019, like it's nobody's talking about inflation, the fact that you paying like $4 for gas right now and $30 for steak, right? You don't see nothing. They act like they like Stevie Wonder, you know what I'm saying? Like a ribbon in the sky. I don't see nothing, you know what I'm saying? But if you go to like Twitter or something, it's like, man, it's some bull, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, boo. So that's kind of what I'm seeing, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, and you still have the people that are so known to like more so, oh, well, this is better than this. but I think a lot of people's eyes been open because once you hit the checkbook, bro, that's the ultimate eye opener right there. Once that $100 that you had last year is more like 60 this year, then that's when it's like, all right, I was paying $1.95 for gas last year, and I'm paying $4 for gas. You know what I'm saying? That's significant. So I think the biggest way you can open up people's eyes is to hit their pockets. Once you hit their pockets, I don't care how many commercials you run. I don't care how many, you know what I'm saying, TikToks and whatever you try to do and little videos and interviews or whatever. My money's short. So when your money's short, I think that's eye-opening to some of these people, you know what I'm saying? But they ain't gonna say it. A lot of people ain't gonna say it. They ain't gonna admit it. You know what I'm saying? But I think you get a lot of regret.
Are you saying that for like the overall masses, or are we talking like the people that put him in office specifically? Because I think the overall masses been saying like they gonna jack everybody money up, you know, because they've been spending like crazy. Like I watched Senate hearing, what's his name, Mitch McConnell, and I hate Mitch McConnell. He just give off Darth Vader vibes to me. Like what's that dude in Star Wars? The dude with the hoodie on, that be shooting lightning. That's what Mitch McConnell remind me of. I forget his name. General Palpatine, whatever his name is, you know. But you know, the spending is out of control and it's not coming back in the community at all. And they've been saying that, you know, that side of the house been saying that. Not saying that they would have put it back in the community either, but at least they said they wasn't going to do it, you know. I just don't think that we're even educated. Like you said, once it hit the pockets, then it's something's not, I don't know what's not right, but something's not right, instead of being proactive and looking at some of the things that were being promised and how they were promising it before it hit the pockets, you know. Now it's a little bit too late. Now it's too late.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
That dollar is a hit, yo. It was like $6 trillion handed out. They trying to do another bill or something, you know what I mean? Is this Build Back Better bill or something? And it's like, bro, it's a hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you spending so much money in with, you know, basically wages stagnant and all this stuff. It's a hit, man. Like, I say good luck next good luck next year. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to supplement that income some kind of way or whatever. But I think people, man, they may not admit it, but I know they heard it. And I think in 2022, when you have like a lot of these elections coming up, a lot of governor races, a lot of whatever, I think it's gonna be a hit. I think it's gonna sit at the crib unless some major change between now and like November. I think cats is gonna chill, bro.
I agree. Because I mean, unfortunate, what have you done for me lately type of community, right? Type of people. And what have they done, you know, for anybody like that's been very impactful, you know, and we talk about impactful, we talk about money. You went from an administration of handing out checks, right? That became almost the standard. Like people made about $65K for doing nothing, you know, and, you know, like, you know, during that whole COVID shit, people on average, I would say if you was unemployed for a year and you got all the benefits, you made about $63,000 to $67,000 to do absolutely nothing. People flipped the fuck out of them checks. People did whatever they wanted to. People went on vacation, and we ain't even talking about the PPP loans that they starting to hit people with now. But you know, you created, you know, the government created a culture of people not having to work, and then they came in saying that they was going to keep this gravy train rolling. You know, so
but you know what I see people today clamoring for lockdowns, yo. And they ain't clamoring for lockdown because they scared, because they've been partying all year. They clamoring for lockdown because they want to check, bro.
Yeah.
I say, you bum. You a bum, yo. How you I want to sit at the crib and get paid by daddy government. You's a bum, yo. Like, and you don't see what that comes with. Like, you see all these businesses. I want to say what 60-70% of black businesses just off them lockdowns is closed forever. You know what I'm saying? You threatening people's livelihood because you want to be a bum. You should be ashamed of yourself, yo.
Or go get that surgery. Because I was in the gym the other morning for the first time in like 4 months. Work just been crazy. And it was like a line of BBLs on the treadmill. I ain't never seen that, no shit like that ever. I'm like, who's paying for all these BBLs? And these were like the jacked up BBLs too. These weren't even the good ones. Look like this one joint put like 2 pyramids down her leggings. You know, I was like, ugh, you might want to go back.
It's
But you know,
so stupid. The ant body, bro. Why they think the ant body is attractive, bro? I'm not.
where this BBL money coming from? Surgeons, you know, it's crazy because surgeons are eating during COVID. Company, like you said, small businesses shutting down, black businesses shutting down. If you a black surgeon right now, you probably getting buried.
Man, they going to the DR for them joints in Mexico.
Oh, that is true. That is true.
They getting that money. That's what they doing.
My homie did say they do have like a line of wheelchairs.
Yeah, I saw that.
Coming from DR, you know, and he just got back from DR, so that was a great insight. But yeah, man, I just don't think that blue voters are accepting the L yet. I think they're still holding on hope because we're a year in, right? Like they're like, oh, well, give them some time. You know, that's at least the older people. I talk to a lot of older people, black people. You know, generally I work with a lot of white men, and we don't even talk politics because in all honesty, I kind of feel the same way they do. Unfortunately, I just don't like the rhetoric they use when they describe.
Yeah, it's like I'm not finna give you your bias, right? I'm not going.
Yeah,
I'm not
going to make it easy for you to start saying stuff when you.
I agree with you, but I ain't gonna say that. You be like,
yeah, you might get comfortable and drop that N word, thinking like we ain't gonna go that route. But you know, I feel for you too. I understand what you're saying. You're not saying nothing crazy. But we're gonna keep this boundary here, you know. But yeah, I don't think the blue voters are holding this L just yet. I think they still holding on to baby Jesus to come back and do the right thing for the world. I don't know what blue voters were thinking. I don't know what they're thinking. Because the money's still rolling in over here. So I ain't really struggling too much. I ain't gonna hold you, but I do feel for people that are.
Definitely. And I see. It's so nice to have the fact checker back in the building. We see Joe Manchin is blocking the BBB joint. So he a dim, so that's crazy too. You know what I'm saying? But I think he's in West Virginia. You know, those are different type of dims over there. They kind of, but salute to dude. Like that's inflation off the chain. Last thing you need to know, there's another bill where you want electric cars, and that's not even, you know what I mean, that's not even like more impactful. Like that's even worse on the environment. If you know anything about those lithium ion batteries, I know we know, but it's like that's the last thing you kind of want to do is flood the market with lithium ion batteries and shit. So that don't even make sense. But let's go on to the next joint. We had C the God, Charlemagne the God. He recently had an interview with Kamala. Almost got a Kamala right there. Where she does her best angry black woman impersonation. Do y'all think it's staged? Is a modern day kind of blackface act? I've seen some interviews recently where she is like whatever environment she's in is like that's what, like, you know, race or ethnicity she's. I recently seen like a cooking show they had with it was an Indian actor. I forgot the lady's name. I can't think of it right now. But then she was like, "Oh, you're Indian, right? Yeah. So we're gonna cook some traditional, you know, Indian cuisines." And she's talking different, you know. She got her, you know what I'm saying? What they call it, the bill collector voice on. You know, hell yeah, let's go and cook, yeah. And then you see her like she's on Charlemagne's platform, and it's like, sister girl,
yeah, don't play me, Negro. That was the tone,
finger wagging, and it's like. So this joint is this, and then, but we all know Charlemagne, guy kind of in on it, right? He trying to kind of plays the contrarian at times, but it's like you're not getting these interviews and they think you finna go off script, right? You won't get that interview if they think you finna actually go in on somebody. So it's like he's playing the contrarian type of dude, but at the end of the day, you kind of know he's in with the shits, right? So what you think, El, on that joint?
I think, you know, is once again, she is who we thought she was too. You know, if you listening to the show, we've been saying this. I blame black women for this because black women seen a light-skinned lady and Howard and said she's our Messiah and put her in the forefront. You know, despite looking at her track record, look how she acts when the cameras aren't on, projecting that image to the black community, right? When you see her on black platforms, she's completely different. Look how she is on white platforms, you know, like you said, like, you know, like you can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's pretty much like she's non-existent because we like what we like, you know, as far as what we tune into media wise. So if you're not checking on how she is on media that's not intended for you, might not get, a person might not grasp who she's really targeting, you know? And on Charlemagne and God, yeah, it was entertaining to say the least. I will say that I watched the whole interview and she didn't say anything during the interview. Like like she literally nothing of substance came out of her mouth. She just kept saying, Joe Biden is our president. Don't play with me, Charlemagne. Don't play. He's our president, and I am your vice president. Like, accept my authority, Negro, because I'll get you hemmed up. You know, I got Secret Service outside. You know, like she was kind of throwing her position of authority around, which made it interesting. But other than that, nothing of substance came out of that. He asked kind of a ignorant question, I believe. You know, he said, what he said, yo, did Joe Biden really win? I think that's what he asked. And, you know, that was a trigger question. It triggered him. But it's like, why did you get triggered on his platform? I thought it was very unprofessional from her. Like, you could just go on a platform and say what you want to say. If a news reporter was to ask you that in the White House, you would handle it a completely different way. So I thought it was kind of corny, in all honesty, but it was interesting because she's kind of like the corny aunt that's successful that want to talk down to you, but really don't got no clout, you know, like.
Yeah, you
like,
don't have I'm not even like impressed by your angry black woman impersonation. I would told you shut up. Like, it's like if my OG was off the chain, I'm like, all right, yeah, okay, she on one. But it's like her, it's like, who are you? Like, shut up.
For that reason, I do think it's staged because Charlemagne usually asks more thought-provoking questions that have more to do. He's giving out donkey of the day to that administration more times about more recent things than are you really supposed to be in the White House, you know, like. So to me, for that reason, I think it was staged. It might have been one of those, we got to capture your fan base back, you know, because there's a lot of negative media. There was a lot of articles and a lot of reports coming out that a lot of people that work within her administration just are unhappy about how she runs her administration. So I personally believe, just with the question that he asks, being very, you know, he is one of the best interviewers in the game. Yeah, you know, he will get those kind of responses, but with he asks the harder questions generally. And that, to me, that was an easy question. Like, that was a question that she didn't have to be accountable for anything because they're in the White House. You know what I mean? Like what is the purpose of that question? You know, to say, are you really supposed to be there? It doesn't really matter if you're supposed to be there or not. They're in the White House. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to me, that was like to answer the question, it did seem staged. And it seemed like she just got to turn on, you know, everybody has different sides. You know, she got to play her Howard educated, still can double Dutch role, you know, that she doesn't turn on often.
Yeah, that to me was the setup to, like I said, do that whole, you know, all right, let me throw my finger up in the air and move my neck and give y'all the black girl role. And it's interesting because her popularity is, I think, less than his. Like, you know, Sleepy, like, how that even happened, you know what I'm saying? Because we all know the setup was the whisk her in as, you know what I'm saying, the new you know, conquering hero to save everything, right? But you less pop, how do you pull that off? You know what I'm saying? So I think that was kind of like, maybe we can boost her up in the community. Maybe we can get these black votes back, you know, or this black confidence in this administration back if we kind of show this. But I don't think it had the effect that they think it was going to have, because it was an inauthentic performance. We've seen plenty of this from her, and she's a DA, bro. You ops, yo, you the cops, bro. Like, so I don't think their efforts is working. I think personally it should have been somebody else. You know what I mean? If they was gonna go that route, they should have picked somebody else to be the, you know, that VP thing. I don't think that played the way they think it was gonna play out in the long run. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? I got Rye here. I kind of want to get her opinion as the black one. Did you feel the performance? So do you think it was staged? Did you get mom vibes when you seen that finger waving? Let me know what you got.
Not mom vibes. It wasn't genuine. I could say that much. It definitely seemed very much so forced. So yeah, I think it was staged. Yeah. But you see what I said in the chat about their conversation, right?
Yeah, who was it originally about, right?
Yeah, she was arguing about him asking who's the president, Joe Manchin or Joe Biden, because of what you said earlier about him holding up the vote.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely think it was staged.
Yeah, that's and that, you know, that's kind of crazy, you know. You know, I think that whole administration is a big soap opera, you know, like if you really look at the narratives, this administration will probably be, if they bring back Scandal, you know, like in the next 2-3 years, you know, Kerry Washington comes back, like they, you know, they've been rejuvenating a lot of old shows. Mm-hmm. I can see this whole administration being like Scandal, where Kerry Washington is Kamala Harris and she's the vice president, you know what I'm saying? Like this whole administration seems like a bad ABC TV show.
It's a Lifetime movie, yo. You just
low
budget,
you know?
Lifetime.
Yeah, like it's something's gonna come out of this that's gonna be entertaining, like Life of Joe or some shit. You want to see some movie, you know, and it's gonna be wildly entertaining because it's very very basic, I would say. Like, you know, at least with Obama, you got feeling, at least in front of the microphone, you know. Mm-hmm. You know, when I be listening to Joe, it'd be like, damn, Joe, like your face don't even move. It's hard to show feeling in front of a camera and your face is completely stiff. No eyebrows, no cheek, like your mouth, the only thing that move on that man's face. And we don't even really ever see Kamala speak that much, and I don't really like when she speaks at all.
Oh no, she got the worst swag. Like the charisma is like zero, bro. Like everything's forced. It seems everything from her is like forced. So I don't get no kind of like authentic. You're having a conversation with me where you're spitting your true facts or your true. It's like everything is forced still, like a cyborg or a robot or something. Like I think she's like right next to like Tulsi Gabbard in terms of just like you don't see no kind of like real emotion from their face, and then like her voice is cracking when she's doing half the impersonations. You know, like you know when you get snapped on by like a black woman, it's like, look here, mother, the hands going, and it's like her voice is cracking, like listen here. Like, I'm not feeling your impersonation right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I get from that. Any last thoughts on this joint, man?
The second part of that question was, is that the new blackface, right?
Right.
So I would say, yeah, but I mean, you see it every day. You see it in the music industry from all these random non-black artists. You see it on television. Like, it's nothing new. And I feel like we're so conditioned to it that we're not supposed to notice it anyways.
That everything's an act. You know, you in that.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like that metaverse. You know, you already in the metaverse. So that's one of the topics we got to. El, you got anything last on the See the Guide interview, bro?
Nah, we good. I think we pretty much. In all honesty, that administration is just difficult to talk about because they're just because there's no highs and lows. There's only lows. And when you only talk about the lows, it's kind of like you know.
Yeah, beating a dead horse. You know what I'm saying? So let's go to our next joint. Let's roll that over. Germany, we got Germany locked down the unjabbed, the unstabbies. We heard about, you know, Australia with their camps and whatnot. We got Canada. They gearing up to, I believe, conduct trials. They already got the 2 to 5 year old. I think they already in trials right now for the stabbies, and they're gonna move on after that to the 6 months old, I believe, soon. Although, you know, almost zero or negligible deaths in that age category. Is the U.S. kind of like the last place where, you know, you might not see our last place kind of fighting to go against these crazy, you know, mandates and things like that. And that's kind of one thing too, I think also kind of rolls into like the rebellious nature kind of Americans, also, you know, the non-trusting of officials. Also, you know, having, you know, second amendments. We actually have Bill of Rights and amendments and rights that we're supposed to have. So it seems like this is kind of the last place, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean it's not possible. So do y'all think we can get like the whole Australia like camps, and they're gonna be trying to jab up the babies and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? What you think, El?
Definitely not. I mean, states like Texas, Florida, you know, you don't need every state to be very aggressive. I don't want to say what I think they would do, but we just know the nature of how Texas and Florida get down. In states like that, you talk about maybe like West Virginia, some of these states that, you know, they anytime their freedoms are impacted on policy and laws, that, you know, they take a stance, and a strong stance. You know, the people do, not just the lawmakers. So you don't want, I don't think the nation will want that to catch fire. With that saying, I don't think that, you know, like you kind of said, culturally, you know, we're built on, you know, what they teach you in school, the Boston Tea Party and rebelling against, you know, like government and stuff like that, right? So I think they'll do it a different way. They won't go to that extreme because of the aesthetics of how that will look for this nation and what this nation is. That kind of drives off of immigrants, right? Like immigrant labor is a big driving point of what keeps Americans afloat. Because a lot of people aren't working for $5 an hour, $6, $7 an hour. It's just, most Americans aren't going to do that. So, you know, I think what they want is people to still feel free to come and be safe here. But what they're going to do is continue to enforce policy to alienate people from being able to live a normal life. You know, I'm up in the Northeast where, you know, I used to go to New York quite often with the family. Stopped going to New York because I'm not jabbed up. You know, Philly was open. Philly put a mandate, full mandate. You can't go anywhere January 1st. So, you know, it's putting,
bro. You I Am Legend, bro. You like Will Smith. You might as well get you a dog in the
that was my movie. That was my movie. You know, Will Smith had to turn into the perfect human being. You know,
you're a
but
pariah.
I was stacking up on my ammo too. I got the John Wick pistol. In case people start turning into the joint.
You going to Kimbo?
Yeah, I'm about to start going to the range shooting only left hand. You know, like, but yeah, I think they'll just continue doing what they're doing, right? Like, you know, just making it so, you know, because now they're saying you gotta have a card to show that you're vaccinated, and they're giving people Fed charges for having fake cards. You know, but it's easier for me to get into a club with a fake license than it is for me to get into a restaurant with a fake COVID card. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of crazy.
That's very crazy. Yo, you can't get a taco. You can't get a damn like what is that? What is the purpose of that? Like, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I don't know how they're gonna be able to keep that up, to be honest with you. You got New York right now breaking records right now for people, you know what I mean, with joint. Like 2 days in a row. I think they broke the record they had yesterday, today, or something like that. Like it's nuts, right? You got the NBA talking about shutting down and you know what I mean? And salute Kyrie. They had to go get that boy back. They had to go get the unjabbed cat back because you losing all your people, right? NFL, the same thing. It's like
NFL getting hit hard. Like,
yeah, how could you keep this? How can you keep up this facade that you got to get this joint to be, you know, safe or whatever, but at the same time, everybody who got the joint is out right now, right? They the ones getting sick, right? So it's like, how can you keep up this facade that you need this joint? Like, when do people wake up, or do they ever wake up? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you keep complying? Do you think New York gonna keep it? And particularly once the weather start to break back again, it's like, you really think people gonna keep, you know, whipping out a car? This is summertime, 95 degrees, everybody outside. Are we still gonna keep that up? So I don't know. Do y'all think
lit? I'm confused how the numbers going up, because summertime was lit. I don't know like what's the difference. It's cold up here and the numbers are higher than they were during the summer up here. So I don't know what they got going on, what's, you know, causing these transmission rates to go through the roof. But you know, people was outside in the summer, like it was crazy, you know, like,
but
so
you know that shit don't last. You know, infrared rays or whatever kills the joint. That's why you don't really get no flu outbreaks or whatnot in the summertime. So you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you got everybody jabbed up there. So how can you keep going with this thing? I read something that said like Ireland, who about to lock back down right now, they like 95% jabbed up. 95%, right? Way past that 90% to herd immunity they talking now, whatever percentage they talking, they change it every month. But it's like, how can you keep this going? How can you keep the facade going? Do people really want to get what they talking 3 to 4 months, the immunity wanes on your joint? So what you talking, 4 shots a year? You really think people gonna get 4 shots a year for forever and still be going out sick? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how long they can keep it up, but it's gonna get real ugly, I think, up there.
I don't, going back to the question, I just don't see them having the infrastructure to lock down like that on a national level. Yeah, maybe some states, I think what they'll do is they'll do like some purge shit and start going by houses and marking houses. Yeah, but saying like, this family isn't fully vaccinated, right? Because they've already tried to do some survey. I think, they came by my crib and tried to, with like questionnaires saying, hey, is everybody in your household vaccinated? I just closed the door. You know what I mean? So, I already peep game like, oh, y'all about to go there with it, huh? And start putting markings on people's houses and making it so your kids can't go to school, and you know what I mean? Like it's where they turn the people against you, where, you know what I'm saying? And even though the data, like the crazy thing with the sports thing, right, is that we're talking about the elite of the elite as far as athleticism and health for the most part. And they were 99% jabbed up. You had to be jabbed up to play in both institutions. They have such a bad outbreak in both institutions that they don't even talk about it. They should really give a public apology to Kyrie. And this is why I hate ESPN, because Stephen A. Smith was kicking his back in. Stephen A. Smith was talking about how he's a traitor, he's a failure, he's failing all these people. No, he just wasn't trying to take an unlogical stance to something, because he never said he wouldn't get it. He just said he wanted to see more info on it. And now the data coming out in the same institutions that he worked for that show that it's no difference whether you have it or not. And so it's just very, I don't see, but for that reason, I don't see them putting in like actual infrastructure to isolate people. Because I think it's about 73 million of us that's still holding on to the good fight, right? That's still a lot of people that could do something.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of people. Matter of fact, I seen they discharging like 1,000 Marines or something. So you got 1,000 Marine charged.
It's 4,000 on this base that's not jabbed up. And they hit the deadline, and like you said, if y'all ain't never worked with no Marines, last thing you want is that one gunny, that one charismatic gunny sergeant that's gonna bring these young boys together that been dying to kill somebody, like that. That ain't what you want in like a small town. Like most of these bases are either in big cities or small cities. Either way, that ain't what you want, and I think the US is mindful to not take a direct approach. They'll just continue with being passive aggressive, saying you can't go eat, you can't go to your kids' dance recitals, you can't go to our gymnast competitions, you can't go to the basketball games, you can't continue to live a normal life if you don't buy into what we're selling you for no reason. So that's just what I believe the route they're gonna go.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you. They're just gonna make your life a little bit more convenient. But in the actuality, I don't even think it's that even bad, because it's like, okay, I can't go to your restaurant. I guess what, I just got cooked more, right? I can't go to this theme park. That's cool. Me and my kids go fishing. We'll go out in nature. We'll go hiking on the trail or whatever. I think it actually might be turned around to be a good thing for people who just used to this mindless entertainment or just used to eating this fat ass food at these restaurants or whatever. Like, okay, we'll just do something as a family, right? We don't need your joint. You know what I mean? We don't need to go to the Panera Bread and get you. We'll just do something at the crib. I'll whip up a salad here. So it's like, you see this, but I think the people that still, like, to me, if you still holding on at this point, you in for the long haul, right? You've already seen the writing on the wall. You probably can't go to half the vacation. You probably had to cancel a couple vacations. You probably had to, redirect, and certain family members might not invite you to things no more. So you've already kind of been through what to come. You can kind of preview what's to come. So if you still holding on at this point, it's like those 70 million or whatever Americans are still like, nah, you ain't getting them. Like you literally probably gonna have to hold down at least half of them and get them to join. So it's like, do you really want to take it there? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I'm seeing. These people even risking their jobs. There's plenty of nurses out here right now, walked off their job, lost their job 20 years in, 30 years in, like I'm good, retired and stuff like that. So I don't even think the labor market can support that joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can the labor market support these people? So yeah, I agree with you that I don't think you're going to see anything close to what we're seeing in other places, just because, you know, America's a super capitalist place. Everything functions off people working and things. Even like this showing you how many players every year played with the sniffles, right? You had the Jordan flu game. That was a legendary game. That was like a thing of like, that was like a legend, right? That's like, oh, this dude played half sick with he did that. Nowadays they might charge him with a felony for playing with the flu.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, he was breaking COVID protocol, even though he tested negative.
How dare he's so selfish. You know what I'm saying? That's how far society has changed. It's like, man, he out there with the flu doing this thing. Like, this is legendary. Now it's like they might take that out of the record books. Like, yeah, this we ain't even gonna call it the flu game. I think they said he had a stomach infection or food poisoning. They're gonna change it to the food poisoning game because they don't even want to give the impression.
Yeah, that he might have had a viral infection. And yeah, you know, but I mean, it's one of those things where I think I was in the sauna the other day and this older white guy, and I guess his coworker or somebody, he must have knew this guy. He came in and the first thing he asked, and it's too early in the morning for this bullshit, but he was like, oh, how's that jab situation coming along? And the dude was like, you know, I'm chilling. And he was like, oh, before you start telling me about all these goddamn reports from all over the world, just know that we're here. We're fighting this here on the U.S. And I'm like, oh, it's one of these guys. You know, and it's like, and, you know, and I got my AirPods in and he started talking about minorities and how the government did minorities wrong and how a large portion of the unvaccinated people were minorities. And, you know, and the guy standing in front of me keep looking at me like I heard he said the word minority. Oh my God, there's a black person in the sauna. What are you doing, Bill? You know, and it's like, you know, you got these fanatics that want to blame, you know, and then he started to go on talking about how he lost his job because he was appointed to like a management role, but it was an office-based role. And then everybody went remote. So they had no reason to keep him on. So, you know, here it is. He's putting off his transgressions, you know, transferring his transgressions for the workforce towards the unjabbed people, you know, and it was like, you know, this is what, you know, all of this could probably be alleviated if the people took a stance as a, you know, even if you know, if you want to get jabbed up, that's a personal choice, but
that's your prerogative.
But to, you know, say that the people that's not getting jabbed up to try to demonize them, I think that's where, you know, the stance should be, you know, where the jabbed up people should be taking that stance and looking at it like, you know, I can see why he wants to take that stance. I just want to take this stance. In all honesty, it doesn't really change much. There can be no data out there that somebody can show me that whether you're jabbed up or you have natural immunity, that it decreases or increases hospitalization. There's no data out there. I mean, there might be. You can skew data anyway, but there's nothing somebody can tell me as an engineer that they can produce concrete data across the world that can draw that correlation in.
Right. It's funny you say that though, because I was feeling the same way. Like the same people just last year we were thanking and calling heroes as essential workers are now being demonized because they don't want this shit. Like, where does that come into play?
Yeah, and they're seeing it, right? They might be seeing somebody on a Tuesday coming and get jabbed up, and Friday they coming in perfectly fine. Like it might be the same person that they took their vitals, and then Friday they all jacked up. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, why aren't these accounts being highly weighted? You know, if somebody told me, oh, don't go to McDonald's, you know, don't eat there. And then I say, why? And they like, because I work there. Enough said, say less. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Say less. I get what you're putting down, you know? So, you know, that's just kind of the ignorance of people where you can have the front people on the front line telling you, like, they might not be saying it directly, but indirectly they saying, nah, don't. We seeing what that jab doing to people. They're just jacking people up, because why would they risk their livelihood as far as their career? Because especially if you are RN, you done worked hard to be an RN, right? You're not about to get that up for no reason. So you got RNs walking off the job. That's severe, and I just feel like people ignoring that, like the media completely silences that. Like you got nurses and RNs and nurse practitioners that are like, nah, I'm good.
And they on the front line, they face to face with it. You know what I'm saying? So you think anybody would be first in line, it would be them. And it's like, why you even got one walking off if they seeing, all this craziness? So that in itself, it should be a light bulb moment, right? Light bulb over your head type of deal. You know what I mean? At least to the point where like, I'm gonna chill out. Even if you double stabbed up, you like, I'm gonna wait off of that third joint, right? I'm gonna see what's gonna happen. But that's not the way they playing it. You feel me?
Yes, they bugging.
Yeah, they bugging. So let's roll into this next thing, was kind of related to that topic. We got the new joint, we got the new variant, which they talking about. What was that, the Optimus Prime joint? What is it?
I was about to say that.
Omarion. We got the Omarion variant. Yeah, we got the Omarion out here. But
from what stuck in my head for the next week, I'm gonna just keep hearing that touch video. That touch.
So we got the Omarion out here, right? And which from all accounts I've heard is the equivalent of like a head cold, right? It's very mild from even the people who discovered it, in South Africa said, right? But is that kind of like a distraction? Because we know we got a lot of things going on right now. You got the Ghislaine Maxwell trial and things like that. And you're not hearing anything about that. You heard they're all about Kyle Rittenhouse and Juicy. Juicy was all in the trial, but you're not hearing anything about this, super high profile, pedo case, right? Nothing, like media silence, right? Also with the Omarion, you seeing that they're shutting down a lot of travel ways to get to Africa, right? They shutting down like travel to certain African countries, even though the people that discovered it said it was from like some tourists that came from Europe somewhere, but they just decided to shut down Africa. So we all know Africans are largely unjabbed. They're largely kind of rejecting, most countries are rejecting, or they're not getting the numbers that they want in terms of people who are jabbed up, stabbed up. So is that kind of like a punishment too? And that's kind of the way I see it, is almost like, because we know we got a lot of areas on the continent that are more so like a Cape Town, some was more so tourist type attractions, right? That when some of their main economies is tourists, you got trade lines that go through that and whatnot. So let me throw that L, bro. You think the Omarion is a distraction, a legit or whatever? And can you see the punishment angle?
Oh yeah, definitely. I believe it was a very well advised doctor, black woman doctor, that was on one of these platforms, and she straight called it for what it was. I was surprised they let her go on the rant as long as she was going, but she brought up other historic moments where they restrict travel and kind of isolate Africa, despite the rest of the world going through the exact same thing. She brought up that they didn't stop travel from any other country when this was going on, and she showed the disparities on how they treat African countries, even historically, how they treat African countries when things like this happen. And like you were saying, like the Jeffrey Epstein, I was doing a quick research, and we talked about Jeff Epstein way before he killed himself, way before he offed himself. We knew he was
supposedly.
And sex trafficking is one of those things where I think that they don't, because they still don't talk about a lot of the key evidence, right? That book that they found with all the names in it, why you didn't publish those names and start questioning them? They should have had every person in that book have to testify at Congress, right? And they're making his wife testify, right? What's her name again? Forget her name.
Talking about Epstein wife?
Or no, not to as Ghislaine Maxwell. They hemming her up, and she's pretty much was on the front line of everything. She probably not seen everybody come and go through there. And we're not talking about like somebody that just had a kid fetish or like a that just was partying hard. We're talking about somebody that was sex trafficking for political leaders. And that's something that is going to go. I don't want to. The Omarion is how the news come on. They'll talk about that case real quickly and then throw on some tense music and then talk about the Omarion and for about 20 minutes and have all these doctors and bring Dr. Fauci on there, who's been court lying numerous times, flip-flopping and all kind of crazy stuff and Fauci we trust type shit, so and then anytime they damage in Africa, they always going to throw that under the bus. That's going under the radar. We still don't talk about the slave trade that happened years ago, caused by our administration, so it's always a cover-ups that go on, but I think in regards, it's still them trying to push the narrative to get jabbed up. First and foremost, that's for whatever reason, I still don't know what that end goal is, but they're pushing that more than anything. So
yes, that's and whenever I see a push, man, whenever I see, because we all know, bro, you have so many people dying of starvation, what we have 600,000 people die of heart disease every year. And that's basically just you being fat, you eating bad crap and not exercising, right? I have yet to see any of these people speak on lifestyle changes, on vitamin D, which we all know. There's plenty of studies out here that say so vitamin D deficiency is part of having extreme, symptoms with this thing, right? We all know that obesity is another thing, asthma, diabetes, things like that, right? But you're not seeing anything in regards to lifestyle changes, bro. I still have yet to see Fauci say anything about getting your fat ass in the gym or working out or exercise. I've seen any of these people say anything in regards to any kind of lifestyle change. It's just all jabs, masks, in lockdowns. It's been nothing in regards to your health or taking personal responsibility. You know what I'm saying? I know you a brother, I'm a gym rat. I know you probably gonna be up 5, 6 o'clock in the morning getting it in. You know what I'm saying? These are things you need to do on a daily basis on top of your nutrition. Not hear anything about nutrition, bro. Nothing. So it's like when I hear all this talk about you want to save me with a jab, but you ain't told me to get my ass in the sun or work out, I'm always gonna question your motives. I don't see how other people can't question your motives. You know what I'm saying? Like, health is more than just jabs and masks and lockdowns. Your health is all encompassing, involves working out and all this other stuff, and you ain't seeing none of that rhetoric, yo. So if you can't see the forest through the trees, I don't know what to say to you at this point. You know what I'm saying? We 2 years deep into this. It's all kind of studies: vitamin D deficiency, obesity, blah blah blah. You still fat, going to the club, drinking Hennessy every night, and you think the stabby's gonna save your life? Okay, good luck with that. You know what I'm saying? Good luck with that. I hope it works out for you. I don't think it is, but good luck with it. Because if that don't get you, something else gonna get you eventually. So that's kind of my take on that joint.
Even like you were saying too, though, like, is it a punishment for Africans? Definitely. I think it's a punishment for us too. You know what I mean? Like shit. We can't ship your ass back, but we'll definitely make it hard for you. Economically, we'll isolate you economically. We isolating the whole nation. Like. You don't think we could get you to? Like, that's like a indirect threat. We should take it as, because I remember that doctor. She was absolutely right. She said Germany wasn't locked down, China wasn't even locked down, and they was the ones where supposedly it originated from. There wasn't you couldn't come in to America from China. I don't recall that. I don't recall that at all. Like a specific, like, there are no flights to China. I don't recall that ever being said on public media. It might have had some mandates.
Well, the orange dude shut it down back when it first popped off. I believe the orange dude shut it down. But from this, admin, I ain't seen nothing but the African joint. Like, that's the only one they should really shut down these days. You know what I'm saying? You can go anywhere else where it's raging, right? The UK about to shut down again. Ireland about to shut down. Y'all ain't shutting that down. But Africa, where this mild variant, the Omarion, popped up, and y'all want to shut everything down. Crazy, man.
I have a question for y'all.
Yep.
Do you honestly think any African citizens actually want to come over here?
It depends on what country you in.
Yeah. Some some of them, especially during the rainy seasons, because if you ever get to Africa or been to Africa floods bad. Like if I had some bread to be sitting in Tampa or Miami, so after that flood season I'm gone. So definitely, there's a lot of money in Africa. They have some beautiful places, but they also have some their weather is finicky over there. Like it'll be clear day and then rain for 4 days straight and flood, like bad flood. So I think America has great climate control. Like you can go, if it's cold in one part of the nation, you can go to another part of the nation on a 3-hour flight and be the complete opposite weather you're at, and have a good nightlife. Like we're an entertainment nation, we're full of entertainment, sports, dancers, clubs. We America's a cool place to visit. Might not be the perfect place to live, but as far as like getting your rocks off for a month, this might be one of the best places in the world. Really.
You know what? That's funny too, because a lot of them are like Arab, Arab people, like a lot of those princes, like Saudi Arabia, they come over here to like party because you can get away. You pretty much do everything you want. You go to LA, you can do whatever you want to do, as opposed to Riyadh, where it's like all these rules and things like that.
Yeah, so, they probably kill somebody out in LA the way they doing it out there right now.
Oh man, yeah, they be burning up street races all the time. I heard because they renting out the best of the best mansions. They got that bread. Man, he had neighbors complaining about them drag racing on the streets and all this stuff. Because it's like, we over here, we got diplomatic immunity and we rich. We finna do whatever the hell we want to do, right? So I can see that. But I think the biggest thing is that you're restricting movement, man. Whenever you restrict people's movement, man, because to me, it's like, how dare you say where I can go in this world? You know what I'm saying? Or where I can go. And I think that's the bigger thing, is that you restricting my movement. If I got a vacation, if I got family over there or whatever, that might be the biggest thing. A lot of African people have family over here and vice versa, right? They can't move nowhere. And it's only specific, and I think we got to also, start talking to Africa like it's a monolith. You got 55 countries or 54 countries in Africa. So they ain't restrict all of them, but just certain ones in the South. So it's like, why these specific countries? You know what I'm saying? But I do see like, some of them cats, they want to come over here and travel. They got family, they got movement, so to restrict their movement, it's kind of like, yo, that's foul. But
business too, a lot of business ventures, a lot of them, it's a lot of money that comes over here. I know for whatever reason, a lot of Nigerians that I've met in my lifetime come from families with money, like big money, not low, like, oh yeah, we had a good 9 to 5. Like, no, like my kids don't have to work type money. It's probably a lot of impact business wise that has on those countries, on those nations as well.
Definitely. So let's roll this. Let's keep this train rolling. We got this is kind of all encompassing, more so hypothetical, I think, conversation right here. I'm definitely gonna need to hear Rye's opinion too at the end. But we got Tristan Thompson. He recently got hit with a paternity case, and I don't even think the baby's born yet. I think she's still pregnant. But that's gonna be his third baby with his personal trainer. We recently had the conflict with the baby and his baby and his baby mamas, Danileigh, and that whole situation that played out on the internet. And then we still got good old Brittany Renner out there on the stroll at Jackson State, picking her next victim or whatever.
Old. She look old.
Yeah, man. That's what happens, yo. You out there that long. But so it's the lack of meat control, pause, kind of a detriment to the black men out here. Like,
Hell no, because none of them are married. Tristan Thompson not married, DaBaby's not married, and ain't nobody marrying Brittany Renner.
What dude, they married PJ Washington. They married Brittany Renner, yo. That's why
they not married.
He married her, bro. I'm pretty sure he did. Where Ryan?
Yeah, right. It's good to.
What's up?
We got
What's up?
Did old boy PJ Washington marry Brittany Renner?
Hold on.
Nah, he ain't marry her.
I think
he got that baby and slid, bro.
I can swear he married her, man, but maybe he's right. We're gonna find out in a minute by right.
She broke.
Yeah.
She was living with her mom and ain't had no bread, and you know, if she married, she wouldn't be needing that because she'd be getting all kind of bread.
I want to say they doing the court joint right now. Like you still got to go to court.
That's just with child support. She was married.
They were married. That's his ex-wife now.
They were?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did the fool, bro. He did the fool, yo. So he out there bad, you know. But the rep was already out there, you know. So I don't know how bad I can feel, right? That's kind of why I brought this topic up. But it's like, are we not instilling any kind of like, you know what I mean, control in terms of what you do, right? In terms of who you lay with, right? And we seeing these writings on the wall, these gold diggers and these different people, right? Is it an issue with us not instilling? Has anybody instilled any kind of, you know, morals or told you what to do in terms of like, you know what I mean, procreating with the wrong people, laying with this wrong person who not with you? I know I personally never really got that talk, right? I never got that talk in terms of like, yo, like you gotta watch these gold diggers out there. You know what I mean? Even if you broke or whatever, you know, you still ain't got to talk like, yo, if you ever come up, you gotta watch what's going on, you know, strap it up, don't do that. Or is this just like rich people just wilding out, right? What you think, man?
I think it's just regular day shit. I think it's just more publicized. Like, I never got that talk either. I kind of was always very watchful. And I, you know, even as a young boy, you know, even, you know, as far back as like 5th grade, 6th grade, just seeing, you know, how some of these girls act at a young age. And I'm like, you know, how that could bring you down as early back as then, you know? So I always was always very selective. And I grew up in a family full of women, very intelligent, beautiful, and strong women. So I always was very selective of who I dated. Now, I will say that, you know, I haven't always taken a good girl because let's be honest, man, some of these women are professional sex workers, you know, like Brittany Renner. I'm not going to say she's a professional sex worker, but she hangs out with porn stars that are professional sex workers. And, you know, we're going to sit there and have to acknowledge that, you know, she's probably great at what she does. She made a whole book about it, you know what I mean? And that book sold, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we can't look at, you know, the average, like when we look at beauty and what we find sexy, like we'll look at Brittany Renner and then she becomes the standard, right? But we also have to keep in mind that when you dating somebody that's in that kind of industry or professional sex worker, which a lot of them are professional sex workers, they're very good at what they do. It comes with a different type of, you know, it's going to have different type of consequences when you're dealing with them. So, and that's always been the case. Whether you could be working at Walmart dealing with a chick that work at Foot Locker, if she in that type of female, then you're going to have to deal with that. Yeah, you know, Tristan Thompson, he a baller. You know, they ballers. He not married to none of them. You know, like it is what it is. DaBaby, to me, what it seemed like in that situation, in that scenario, he was rocking with her. That was his main chick, but not his girlfriend. And she overstated her position to him. Like to him, he like, yo, I'm rocking with you, but you overstepping your boundaries. And she just thought she was more than what she was. That happens all the time, you know.
But I mean, she was in the crib. You got this man, baby. You're in the house. He doing music videos with you on the side of him. Like, what was she to think? You know what I'm saying? I can't really blame her 100% on that because if that's your side piece, like you're implying, right? That's the side joint. You don't knock up side joint. You definitely don't move the side joint in the crib. You definitely ain't got the side joint featuring in your videos. So he was doing all this main joint things with her, but she a side joint. Like but your game.
She looked really, really, really good though. Like I think that's like this is the thing that we don't talk. She looks really, really good, and she was popping. It wasn't like she was an average female. Like I think, you know, like we're talking about women that have social status and are very attractive. They're very attractive women. Brittany Renner is very attractive. We're not gonna front like she's not. Like, she's very attractive, right? So if Brittany Renner was to walk onto any campus right now, that campus was shut down. It was shut down. So when we talking about these men not controlling themselves, like, most men wouldn't with these type of women. Like, it just is what it is. And when you have this kind of money, you have the resources to navigate around it. At least with DaBaby, like, to me, it's like, all right, so because we saying DaBaby put her to the forefront, at least in media, that was his girlfriend. Nah, because if he kept it behind the scenes, we'd be saying, oh, that was a side chick. He was trying to be nice. So we penalized the dude for trying to be a gentleman, right? And then we penalized the dude for creeping on the side and the baby popping up. Like, the whole spectrum, we're constantly penalizing rich men for smashing highly attractive women with status. It just is what it is.
I seen Tristan Thompson, latest baby mom. I wouldn't say, like, I think he can.
But I mean, he's smashing everything. He gonna crack whatever. He's 60 and a millionaire. Yeah. Like, if you ever talk to a woman about what they want, most women want somebody over 6'1", which is like 10% of the population, right? And then
me damn started.
What you say?
Started.
Wow, what you mean by that?
Because I'm 6'1" my damn self.
Okay, so I'm saying something that's not off the wall, right? So, like, most women want somebody over 6'1", not 6 foot, because 6 foot like the average, like 5'10", 5'11", right? You throwing some Timbs, you 6 foot for the night. You know what I mean? So I know a lot of women are getting hip to game with the boot situation. They're like 6'1" or higher. You know what I'm saying? So they can compensate for that boot. So generally, and we live in a time where women are highly selective right now. Highly selective. Women do not, because it's not like back in the day where you had to meet somebody by your geographical location. You could be in Kentucky and have a full relationship with somebody in New York. You know what I mean? So a lot of these women have access to men through social media, through the internet. They can pick and choose. And it's like, if I'm a man and I'm single, I'm going to sit there and, all I got to do is just send a message to fall into some box. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. At least PJ Washington he was real young too, though. He was real young, but it say I just did the fact checking it. He did get married and they was divorced 2 weeks later.
That's a no, man, ain't it? That's
I
crazy.
guess so, but at least he still married her, right? Like, it's not like who looked wrong in that situation, because she never said what he did. She's going on a public press talking about he just ain't treating me right, but she ain't saying what he did.
Well, she got the prize and she dipped. You know what I mean? Everybody can see that. You got the knock up. So, well, I'm gonna stay in this relationship. That's all I was in the marriage for. He did it early, right? He knocked up early in the game, right? I think you brought up a good point too, bro. That these days people are not restricted to geographic location. That's why I read a crazy report saying, like, you have a 25% increase in, like, college-aged male virgins these days. Because if you think about it, you 18, 19 freshmen in college, these dudes are broke, right? And you dealing with women, right? Even if they in college with you, they can just hop on the app and get a 30-year-old to pull up in the Benz. You feel me? And so you seeing that the bread is the motivator these days, right? These older dudes is cracking everything, right? And these millionaires, billionaires, these ball players, things of that nature is cracking everything. Meanwhile, the average dude who's trying to maybe grind his way to a status or whatever, he left out in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? So I think you may have a situation when people not used to shit, right?
Yeah.
But I know Tristan, he was a college. Did he go to college? I believe he was a college star. I know he was cracking stuff. You know what I mean? But the average regular, I'm gonna just go to college, get my degree, blah, 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 go to high school, and I'm not really a jock or anything like that. They ain't getting to crack nothing because of these, you know what I mean? Because of this digital age, right?
In a world where if you over 6'4", you cracking whatever you want. That's really what the thing is, right? You either under 6'1", and anybody under 6'1" got to compete with people over 6'4", 6'3". right? And before you didn't have to do that because it's like, oh, okay, it might be 3 tall dudes, you know, like really women are the driving point to the selectivity. And I just feel like you can't be mad at a man for choosing unlimited options when you are high status and high value, right? And I'm talking about physical.
Well, I don't think the problem is choosing. I think the problem is like you just knocking up joints. I mean, I get you rich, but eventually you're gonna retire from the NBA, you're gonna retire from this, you're gonna retire from that. And in order to, we all know when you playing this child support game, you got to go to court every time your dollars change and hope the judge reduces your joint. That in itself, going to court by itself is bread. We know how many people retire from the NBA, retire from the NFL, and then broke within 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention, this is kind of like a bad example for these broke dudes who out here cracking everything. They think they could be Tristan Thompson. You ain't got $1 million, homeboy. So when you make 5 babies or whatever, I hear 4 babies in the world chasing Instagram joints or whatever you doing, clubbing, shit, you know, bagging the strippers or whatever you doing. At the end of the day, you gonna be in jail because you ain't paid. We all know how the child support gang go, right? So that's kind of like my overall look. This is like this kind of a detrimental behavior. This is a detrimental look because if you a normal, regular dude who maybe just got some game, maybe got a nice car, maybe got a little chain or whatever, you cracking everything, trying to think you going to Tristan Thompson, DaBaby type time, you ain't got the bread, homie. You gonna be broke.
Yeah, but I think we got to separate the type of dudes too, right? Like on the real, you have the dudes that the women are gonna pursue for economic opportunity and just to crack them, just to let them crack. Like some of these women not looking at dudes all the time just for the bag. You know, we're in a state where women are like, oh, okay, I like this dude for this and I like this dude for this. The women are very selective, and DaBaby, Tristan Thompson, and all of those dudes, they're at the top of the list because money is, like you said, is a big driving factor. But I mean, in today's climate, if I was single, I could go out there and probably do some crazy numbers, you know what I mean? And it's like, I can only imagine if I had $8 million sitting in my bank account and I was single. Like, yo, you talking about, I'm sliding in every DM and I'm probably going to hit. I'm going to win, you know? So I can only imagine if you're DaBaby, one of the biggest selling artists in the last 3 years. Tristan Thompson, NBA champion, 6'8", knocked up Khloe Kardashian. That off the rip, just you knocking up a Kardashian is going to get you play, you know, from all these buckets. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, Brittany Renner, she looked good. She was a athlete. You know, she was a college soccer athlete before she got on the Instagram thought wave. You know, she had a lot of videos doing soccer tricks, doing all kind of crazy athletic stunts, showing how athletic she was, you know? So it's not like she was an average female, you know? It's like these are physically, at least Danileigh, as well, not just all physically, but they're very highly attractive females that are highly selective as well, you know? But
you know,
Renner,
you gotta roll that too, though. I know, right? I'm just about to toss it around, but it's on roll it too, though. You see how they all look, right? They not really Black women. Like,
oh no, of course not.
They may be mixed, the spicy Black or spicy white, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So that's another thing too. Like, would they been better off you knocked up Black or stuck with the Black woman instead of chasing this exotic look? You know what I'm saying?
Community wise, yes, they would have been better because at least that money circulates with Black baby mothers, you know, and Black, you know, women in Black families. But I think it's all the same. I think, you know, if you look historically, how men are, how women are, you know, even the story of Cleopatra, if people really believe that story, how did she come into power? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, she went after the big fish and she got that hook, line, and sinker. You know what I mean? That's been the name of the game since men, you know. We just, as men, we just fall for it, you know. It just is what it is. Like, you know, I think it's just bigger because we look at a Brittany Renner and we say, you know, realistically, a man off the street, average man, would probably give up everything for a chick like that. But then on the flip side, you got average dudes cracking stuff like that off of apps all the time. All the time. The game is different now from when we kind of came up, right? Like the game is way different. You know, if you want to, these women are saying, I want a 6'2" chiseled a dude that make at least 85. These are all data fields on an application, and then they could filter everybody they want. So they don't have to go date the people that they don't want to date, because they're going to still have an abundance of men that aren't going to turn them down. Men, I don't know too many men that's going to be like, oh, this girl just hit me up in my DM. I'm not going to talk to her because I already got too many women. He going to find a way to at least get them buns first.
But you know what? We was taught to differentiate, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you may, and cats can crack some bad joints. It's like, but you knew when to smash and grab and when something that was real that you may need to hold on to, at least in theory, right? In theory, at least as you get older, you should know, like, all right, this is a smash and grab situation, right? I'm just adding this to the list, as opposed to this is something I need to hold on to, right? This joint. And I think you kind of losing that, like these cats seeing the looks or whatever, but not, going after the whatever, the tangibles or whatever you need, or somebody that's going to have a little brain or something. And then on top of that, you add the kid to it. So now you know what she on, and she going to be the main breadwinner for this kid. She going to be the main parent. Now, you know what I mean? You producing a whole generation of these, like what that kid is going to aspire to. You know what I mean? Hopefully it's a damn boy. If it's a girl, good luck. You know what I'm saying? You just created Brittany Renner 2.0. That's what you raising. You feel me? But
to PJ Watt's this last point, to PJ Watt's defense though, he's 23 years old.
Oh yeah, he's
you know what I'm saying? Like, he's 23 years old. Like, at 23, if a chick like Brittany Renner was to give me the time of day and everything was good, because like I said, she hangs out with Tiana Trump, the porn star, who's a professional sex worker. I'm pretty sure Brittany Renner has had career advice, given to her that allows her to be able to sustain getting the type of men that she thought would change her life, right? She wrote a whole book about a lot of men. Colin Kaepernick, Drake, I think they alluded to. I never read the book, but there's a lot of, all of these are like high value men. You're not getting no high value man being whack in the bedroom, in the sack. That just is what it is, and he's 23. What she was taught, she went and put it on him, and he ain't no different. Like, at 23, you got $6 million in the bank. You trying to lock something down too. And she's athletic. You an athlete. Usually athletes like athletes. Now DaBaby, look, he went and got a pretty up and coming chick that he could impress that Danileigh chick with a lot less. He couldn't bag no Megan Thee Stallion, because then he would have to continue to maintain a woman at Megan Thee Stallion level. Danileigh is broke. She ain't got no bread like that, so he can go show her whatever he want to show her. She what singles do she got out on the radio? She ain't got no.
Yeah, she had that one joint, that Chris Brown. That's about it. Like, you a one hit wonder at this point.
Yeah, so like he picked somebody that he can always have proper leverage over. Yeah. Tristan Thompson probably got buku bread. He like, I got another kid. I'll give her $2 million. She'll go away. Like Lil Wayne do it. They all do it. When you got that kind of money, you can maneuver a little bit differently. Kids not really a big issue, in my opinion. I don't think if I had $30 million and I had 3 kids but 3 chicks I didn't want, the money would take care of that.
Yeah, definitely. Ryan, you got anything on this before we close out this subject? I know you, as a woman, you might have something to contribute.
Yeah, as a woman and a mother, I got something. So, no, but for real, reading the question, like, the focal point for me was the fact that we talking about 2 Black fathers. So, like, I don't care how attractive a woman is. At the end of the day, her attraction isn't what's gonna raise your child. And like, there are a good number of Black men out here that care about the upbringing of their children. So I feel like that needs to be taken into account when you just out here smashing and knocking down everything that comes your way, because half these women mindset is fucked up. And that, like I said, that's what's going to raise your kid at the end of the day.
Exactly. Strap up. So there we go. Let's roll to our last topic of the day. We got the announcement of the Metaverse. And we seen the commercials, man. It kind of freaky, kind of creep me out. But are we officially on the cusp of this Matrix type society? And should we be concerned, man? I seen the commercial where they got actually I seen Nike and stuff like that. They filing patents for virtual like gym shoes and stuff like that. So they got virtual. One of them even already selling I want to say Nike. They're already selling like virtual Jordans and stuff like that, where you can buy for your avatars on the NBA 2K, or now with this Metaverse joint. I don't know if anybody ever seen Ready Player One, where it's like everything is on this like alternate universe that you log in and you get your VR glasses, and that's what you do all day. Are we headed to that joint?
I think we've been there. I think now they're starting to make it a driving point for business plans and business model and business infrastructure. If you look at what an NFT is, there's NFTs that are selling virtual real estate, $80,000 for a plot of virtual real estate. There's cryptocurrencies based off of these NFT environments in which there's like corporations that are buying these virtual real estates to put buildings on virtual real estate, so you could walk into the store with your avatar and buy virtual property or virtual art. That's what the whole concept of NFTs are. Non-fungible tokens. It's just digital art. 2K's been doing it, right? Any listeners play 2K? When you log into 2K and you go to the My Park and you can't have the Skippy Bobos on your feet for too long once you hit like level 8, right? So what you do, you might be out of your coin, and you might just be like, F it, it's $20. I'll just go get some VC and then go put some fly stuff for my guy. But instead of it being you paying, we don't know the inner workings behind the scenes, but I know in this 2K they got OVO clothing on 2K.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like for real, they got OVO clothing on 2K. They got Palms Angels. They got all of those are NFTs. So what I think they do, they probably give them, they either give them a flat rate or they say, depending on how much of your clothing is bought, probably depends on what they pay these brands. So it's already happening. People are just now starting to put the concepts to what's actually happening, right? Like, trying to think of something else. Facebook, or I look at your iPhone. If you got an iPhone, you can make an emoji out of your own face. You know what I mean? Like,
Snapchat, all that. My thing is, should we embrace this joint? Like, it's like, because we already know the way you get wealth, one of two things got to happen. Either somebody put you on where you get that cosign, or you're first to something, right? If you're first to market to something, if you're first to be in a certain like a metaverse, like if you was one of the first people to get on like Twitter or Facebook, right? You probably the king of that, right? You probably got 20,000 followers just because you was the first one on it. You was the first one to YouTube to start doing the videos for that, right? You might be rich now. Should we embrace that, or is this something that should be like nipped in the bud? It's something like we shouldn't embrace because you already know what kind of leads to it. Is dystopian type society where people's fat and lazy sitting there on a phone or on a 3D glasses all day looking at a screen, right? What you think, man?
I mean, I throw this scenario out there, right? Let's take sneakers, right? You know how they do raffles, and remember back in the day, you had to wait outside, big lines, right? And now even today, people are, one of the things in Congress, a good article I read, just because I'll be on my IT shit, they want to make botting illegal. So when people buying up graphics cards and sneakers and reselling them, they want to make that process illegal. To me, it's just their inability to embrace technological advantages, right? If they can use those technological advances to their for themselves, for profit, for bigger companies, it wouldn't be a problem. But there's millionaires being made off of technology and people taking advantage of basic technology. So I'll say in this scenario, right? If you want to get rid of botting, right? Think of an environment where you have your art avatar, right? Say 1 million pairs of Jordans log in. And say Nike bought up maybe 2,300 square feet of maybe a block worth of virtual real estate, whatever that looks like. Now, say if you really wanted to make money, and I'm not saying this is cool or not, but you got to log in with your avatar and walk to the Nike store to go get in line and get a Nike NFT that's the equivalent of a voucher. The problem with a lot of stuff is there's no transparency with computing, unless you're a computer geek, right? I think that infrastructure has already been here. I think it should be embraced because it's not going anywhere. It's no reason to try to fight against something that's not going anywhere. And I think that people need to embrace it to understand what they need to put their foot down. Right now, this cyber world is lawless. And it's because people don't even understand how they're connecting to one another. You can't really fight against the inevitable, or you can't really fight against what, because I don't know if you've seen that article with the self-replicating robot already, right? They made a robot, a nanobot that's self-replicated, right? And nobody's talking about that, but that's kind of game over already. Like it's already game over at that point.
Can't stop that train at that point, right? So it's like, should you get into, you might as well just get into the game, but at least be ethical with what you do, because you're gonna need ethical people out there. That's why we pushed. That's why we did the Present series. When you bringing on people talking about health and bringing on people talking about different things, and that to you got to balance it out. It's all about balance, right? So that's why I was telling people about the crypto joint, because you got a lot of people that tell you that the crypto is going to bring about pretty much the dystopian society, because they're going to be able to track every transaction, which they can do anyway already off the dollar, because everybody got a debit card, right? But
so it's actually gets you away from tracking a lot of stuff. It's not even.
It depends on what coins you get. A lot of coins, you have security coins that you can't really track, and you got other coins that are more so tracked. Like Bitcoin is pretty trackable, but at the same time, you're not stopping that train, right? You're going to a digital society. You're going to a digital realm. It's gonna happen, right? We're gonna get off the fiat, and you're gonna go to digital coins. You're gonna have to embrace this technology. The question is, are you gonna be able to balance it, right? Are you still gonna be able to go to the nature walks, right? Are you still gonna go on vacations with your family, get in the water, you know what I'm saying, and do those things, and not just sit there and be a slave to the metaverse or to this digital technology that's coming? I don't think you personally stopping any of this that's coming on, but you at least need to be able to tell your kids. And I know we fathers, man, so you gotta be at least teach your kids that, maybe 2 hours here, and then you outside the rest of the day or something like that. You can't, you going to dance class, or we gonna put you in little league, we're gonna put you in basketball or something. You just gotta be able to balance it. And you're gonna have some people who take it to the extreme where that's all they do, yo. I seen a crazy report. It was years ago about like this, because Japan is 10 years ahead of us all the time. But it was like a couple that went to these cyber cafes, and they was in there so long, they baby starved to death at the house. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what happened, yo? You was that deep into this alternate universe that your real life baby died. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we gotta learn to balance, that mayat, otherwise you're gonna be screwed.
I think it's also too, because I'm naturally more introverted. I say I'm about 50-50. But like, even me, like, I'm very unjabbed, and not like I quit my last job when they kind of made it hard for me. They kind of was taking a stance, well, you're not jabbed, we're keeping you, but you gotta put the work in. And it was causing my days to be longer. And the people that were jabbed were, able to leave early because they was able to travel a little bit more. But looking at shutting down, I'm like, I can't be in a house like that. Like, I just know that about myself. I cannot be in the house not being able to go nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not me. I can't do that, I don't even think my relationship could last like that. I don't think I could have a relationship where I can't do nothing, because a large part of my being is being out and being social and being funny and things of that nature. And so I personally don't know too many people that are, now I know I work with a lot of people that are very reclusive, but I don't think for, and you know what, I can't say that, because I think I read a stat that said that we're on the cusp of having a higher death rate than birth rate, if we're already not there already.
Yeah, we already there.
You already there? Okay, yeah. So I mean, that might be, there's probably strong data, that correlates to the amount of time people are inside now, right? Because even dating, right? Before you could date, you had to be outside to be dating. Now you could have a whole date virtually, essentially, right? You could know a whole person before you go out on a date. You can know what they like, what they don't like, what they last relationship was like. You can know what they look like, like you could be dating a person without physically seeing them before you go on your first date. So and you might be in depending on who you are, you might be getting your rocks off where you feeling sufficed from not having that physical touch. If you're really looking for like somebody to love you or something like that, I can't judge that, right? Somebody that's really looking for a genuine, strong connection outside of the physical realm might be like, we'll see each other in 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So instead of making that assertive effort to go see them ASAP, and we probably already there. And I just don't think, I think we should be concerned, but I think it's one of those things that it has to be a cultural identity, right? Like, it can't be, it's not nobody's forcing anybody to use this stuff in the way that we're doing it, right? Like I always bring up OnlyFans on the platform, but like really look, OnlyFans was generally for people, for hobbyists. Oh, you're a painter. Tell your painters to come look at what you're doing. Oh, you like fixing cars, and it turned into a platform that only makes money because people slave away at the platform looking at girls busted open for hours. Like, I guarantee you as a IT guy, right? I guarantee you they have an amount of hours spent connected of devices connected to the servers.
Well, they was gonna get rid of the sexual content, and then once they get the blowback came back, they was like, oh, okay, yeah, we
you talking about billions of dollars would have been flushed down the drain immediately, and lawsuits. So like, but just from the amount of hours, like total combined hours, because I think on YouTube they say in 1 hour there's over like 100 years of data of hours uploaded in like a day or something like that, right? Like if you think about it, there's so much data uploaded in a day you could never go through it in a year, in a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? So
which speaks to the amount of servers, like it's like, who is financing? Because it's like, you need the amount of storage and servers you need to accommodate these users and data.
Look at Facebook. Like, that server farm got to be crazy. But think of how many people I think the average person spends 3 hours on Facebook a day. I think that's, I did a whole paper on like social media and the lawlessness and addiction and all that. I want to say it was higher, but I'll leave it at 3 hours a day. Right. And so if you think about it, 8 hours to sleep, 8 hours to work, that's 16. Right. Now this is kind of false data because you can be on Facebook actively while you're working or while you're, in the bed or something. But if we just leave it at, you can only do one at a time, 8 hours to sleep, 8 hours at work, 3 hours on Facebook, that puts you at 19 hours. That means you got only 5 more hours.
You got to drive to work. You physically got to go to work. You got to pick your kids up. You got to.
So when we talk about the concern already been here. The concern should have been addressed. It was just so profitable because you now able to connect everybody to whatever. There's with problem solving, what I learned in IT is that there's a limitation for hardware, right? There's a limitation when you need to physically build something. There's no limitation when you need to build something that you can do with software, right? There's so many dating apps. There's so many dating apps for people that just can't find nobody that's connected people. People getting married off of that. There's if you needed to order food but ain't feel like going out, there's an app for that. You know what I'm saying? So the concern to me should have been present. Now it's a little bit too late because it's like software is the Steph Curry of life right now, right? Like how applications are operating is completely changed life, where you can't even go back because our whole life runs off of computing.
Yeah, it's already changed. Like society in itself, to me, looking at it from a nuanced standpoint, society's always been changed, man. Like the way we grew up, like if you were 80s baby, you're in within the next 10 years, you're gonna be like, damn, even us gonna be like, damn, like
that's over. Yeah, like how we grew up is a relic. Like it's a relic. Like I never forget during COVID, I seen a group of girls riding outside on what's them things called, the motor scooters, like the trikes, not the trikes, the automated two-wheel joints, the hoverboards, you know, like they was just all outside on hoverboards on their phone, hoverboarding. I was like, what kind of Back to the Future bullshit is this? You outside on hoverboards on your phone playing Pokemon Go. Outside.
Then you finna add in the automated vehicles. They already trying to get funding here. That's part of that BBB plan is starting to get these the roads ready for self-driving vehicles. So
people gonna get kidnapped. If I was a hacker, I'd divert all kind of traffic.
I'll roll you straight to the joint. You commit a crime, yo. You think you finna go to the club and you program that joint in?
They're gonna lock you in and they're gonna take you straight to the police station. They're gonna lock you in your car and you gonna
lock the doors on you.
They're gonna put you straight into the they're gonna be like, we see what you did. We're diverting you to the nearest PD department. That's people don't understand what you can do with technology and who has reached to it, right? When you're talking about Neuralink, Elon Musk want to put the brain chips in people, right? There's a lot of benefits that can happen to that, especially medically. But essentially, if you could connect to something, that means that thing is connected to you. And people are going to buy into that. People are going to buy into that, right? And so it's like, I don't want nobody connected to my mind. You know what I mean? Like
with the glasses, between the Google glasses and now the Neuralink, and you basically be walking around as an Android. You partly Android at that point, yo. You know what I mean? Like,
the jabs and it's going to be all connected. That's the thing. They want to connect everybody to everything.
Yeah, I'm
to make you dependent.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody's seen Judge Dredd or whatever.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna be the person like underground living.
Oh, you talk about Demolition Man?
Oh, the Demolition Man. Yeah,
I knew you talk about Demolition.
Yeah, we'll be underground eating them rat burgers.
They're gonna be programming basketball players, right? Your NBA 2K player is gonna be the real NBA. They're gonna be like, you've reached you're the best player in 2K. We're gonna build you a robot to upload your 2K player to compete, that's gonna
and
be
people already watching like esports and all this. So
I watch esports, bro, because the level of which they do things in video games, I can't even. How do you know 100 hit combo? That's 100 buttons that I can't even remember a goddamn phone number, but you remember a 100 button string.
Say we outdated out here. Let me throw it to Rod before we get about. Hey, Rod, you got anything on the metaverse or anything? Are you chilling over there? What you got?
It's funny because when you first start talking about the Nike contracts and shit, I was gonna hop on and say, man, that's some lame ass shit to buy some some virtual Nikes. But then I think about like my kids, like you on freaking Xbox and shit, spending money on Roblox. So I mean, y'all right, we are already there. And then I read that article you was talking about, Lo, about the nanobots, and I don't know. I guess it's too late to try and turn this shit around.
A lot of people, but you see, they're not really publicizing it, right? Like,
no. People don't read, so yeah.
People don't read, and so like when we're talking about, like, this is a robot. It looked like a cell. Like if you look at the pictures, it just looked like a blob, but it's a robot.
Yep.
And the fact that it replicated means it's over. It's over. You don't need a person at that point. You don't need people.
Yeah, facts.
Exactly.
Facts. We're screwed. Good luck. I got a lot of guns. Anyway, that's all I got. I think we did pretty good, man. About to wrap it up. If anybody got anything they want to plug or promote or whatever, Lo, I'll throw it to you first. You got anything going on? I know you're working on the I think once the NBA joint of the gambling podcast. I don't know if you want to give people a little preview or information about that, but you got anything, bro?
I'm still working through it. I'm bringing in Slim, because and then a couple other people. What I'm trying to do is like a sports journalist thing. I'm a big fan of balling. Anybody know me know I'm a baller. And if you played against me, I probably didn't drop buckets. But we just want to do something. I got kind of fed up with ESPN and Stephen A. Smith and some of these guys. Really just out here putting a lot of trash in the air. And just wanted to kind of put my own platform out there, in which, we just talk about certain things, NBA related. I might expand other sports, but NBA is what I want to focus on, college basketball, high school basketball. And then we provide opportunity for interactive head-to-head fantasy live betting. So as part of the business platform. But we're still putting it together, trying to sync times to record, and now, as you see, I've been too present on here just because time's been rough for me. But got that, and then also got a venture capitalist company I'm trying to start up, just to be able to legally and professionally put money into businesses and have it in writing. So send any businesses or send products too. Like if you make soaps, candles, like if you make consumables, send them my way. I'm a big fan of the craft and people doing art. So, shoot an email to the org box. And then, let's link and send some products our way. Definitely put it on the gram, definitely get in people's hands, and let's try to Black Shark Tank this thing.
Word. I'm gonna holler at you about. I'm thinking about networking too. We're gonna do like a little subsidiary type of deal. I want to talk to you, but we're gonna talk offline. Right? What you got? You got anything going on? You want to say anything?
No, I ain't got nothing. Y'all just send me some positive energy so these film don't drive me crazy.
We'll
salute to Ra for increasing the Black population single-handedly. But yeah, it's always good to get y'all back, man, and get a full crew, because like I said, this is almost like a family reunion to me, man. I love talking to y'all and sharing ideas, man, with highly intelligent Black folks like y'all, like yourselves, and talking and whatnot. And that's pretty much all I got. I'm not really working on too much anything, like I said, other than trying to get like the network thing off the rip. So that's all I got. Make sure y'all check out the t-shirt Epiphanies. I'll put the link in there too. We selling the t-shirts. This space isn't free. We have to pay hosting fees. So yeah, buy a damn t-shirt. But that's pretty much all I got. So on behalf of everybody here at Harsh Reality Podcast, I gotta say peace.
Good episode.
Peace out.
Yeah, good episode.
Greetings, everyone. This is Koku from the Bitter Medicine Podcast, inviting you to tune in to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
Peace, family. This is Oni, inviting you to listen to the pro-Black perspective, where Black problems are addressed with Black solutions.
Greetings, fam. Tune in to The Learning Curve with me, the revolutionary matron on KWAZ Radio.